Okay. So we usually do a Isopanisad reading today. There's 3 books that everyone's been reading on Zoom. So it's Isopanisad, Nectar of Instruction, and Nectar of Devotion. So today we're going to read Isopanisad. And that's also on Veda base.
Yesterday, KB put it up on there and he screen shared it.
I can screen share it too. Isopanisad is really cool. Here, I'll bring up the screen share. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, I'm sharing the screen now. Hopefully that's helpful. And it is Sri Isopanisad. We're on mantra number 4. So here's the mantra number 4. Isopanisad it's like describing the Supreme Personality of Godhead in just I think 12 mantras.
Wait,
really
so are these mantras?
We'll hear more about it.
Are these mantras similar to like the Maha Mantra, or?
He said later, Dr. Richard. Sorry.
Let's see.
You could come up here if you want, though.
Oh, sorry, just one second. Okay, sorry. Somebody was just asking about getting a bead bag and some beads. But these mantras, I think it's different from the Maha Mantra in the fact that, like the Maha Mantra, that's given by our spiritual master. So in that way, it's more potent. So it's not like we'll get the same effect by just chanting these. I don't know so much though, because I haven't read Isopanisad yet. But the idea is the mantra that we're given, the Maha Mantra, besides the fact that, I mean, that is the name of Krishna, so it's potent, but there's other mantras that are the names of Krishna too. But the reason why the Maha Mantra is also so strong is because it's being passed down to us from the disciplic succession. So when we get it from a bona fide spiritual master, like Srila Prabhupada, then it actually has the effect. In the same way, when we take initiation from a spiritual master, it's more powerful, pretty much, because it's being handed down. It's authorized, so it actually has the effect.
Wow.
I can make just a small comment on these mantras are similar. All the Vedic literature, it's full of mantras. The whole things are mantras. Mantra means to deliver the mind. So from mantra, all the Vedic literatures are designed to bring our mind from the meditation on the temporary to the eternal. So these mantras are powerful in the same way. They're fully transcendental, just like the Maha Mantra, but it's that we've been prescribed to study these and understand them, whereas the Maha Mantra we've been prescribed to chant repeatedly. So it's a little different. It's like Bhagavad Gita, it's giving us knowledge, but they're all mantra.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this one. Anejad ekam manaso. Let's see. Anejad ekam manaso javiyo.
Anejad ekam manaso javiyo.
Naina deva anupna. Sorry. Naina deva apnuvan purvam arshat.
Naina deva apnuvan purvam arshat.
Tad davato nyan Atyati tishtat
Tadavatanyana Yatitishta
tasmin apno matar ishvadadhati.
Tajmina Komatarishvadati.
Okay. Translation. Although fixed in his abode, the personality of Godhead is swifter than the mind and can overcome all others running. The powerful demigods cannot approach him. Although in one place he controls those who supply the air and rain, he surpasses all in excellence. Purport. Dylan?
Dakota.
No, Dakota's not here. Purport. Through mental speculation, even the greatest philosopher cannot know the Supreme Lord, who is the absolute personality of Godhead. He can be known only by his devotees through his mercy. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that even if a non-devotee philosopher travels through space at the speed of the wind or the mind for hundreds of millions of years, he will still find that the absolute truth is far, far from him. The Brahma Samhita further describes that the absolute personality of Godhead has his transcendental abode, known as Goloka, where he remains and engages in his pastimes. Yet by his inconceivable potencies, he can simultaneously reach every part of his creative energy. In the Vishnu Purana, his potencies are compared to the heat and light that emanate from a fire. Although situated in one place, a fire can distribute its light and heat for some distance. Similarly, the absolute personality of Godhead, although fixed in his transcendental abode, can diffuse his different energies everywhere. Did you want to read the next paragraph, Coder?
Yeah, I'm done. Although his energies are innumerable, they can be divided into three principal categories: the internal potency, the marginal potency, and the external potency. There are hundreds and millions of subheadings to each of these categories. The dominating demigods, who are empowered to control and administer such natural phenomenon as air, light, and rain, are all classified within the marginal potency of the absolute person. Lesser living beings, including humans, also belong to the Lord's marginal potency. The material world is the creation of the Lord's external potency, and the spiritual sky, where the kingdom of God is situated, is the manifestation of his internal potency.
I'm going to read the next one.
Thus, the different energies of the Lord are present everywhere. Although the Lord and his energies are non-different, one should not mistake these energies for the supreme truth. Nor should one wrongly consider that the Supreme Lord is distributed everywhere impersonally, or that he loses his personal existence. Men are accustomed to reaching conclusions according to their capacity for understanding, but the Supreme Lord is not subject to our limited capacity for understanding. It is for this reason that the Upanishads warn us that no one can approach the Lord by his own limited potency.
Maybe we'll do 2 paragraphs each. That might be easier.
In the Bhagavad Gita 10.2, the Lord says that not even the great rishis and shuras can know him. And what to speak of the asuras, for whom there is no question of understanding the ways of the Lord. This fourth mantra of Sri Isopanisad very clearly suggests that the absolute truth is ultimately the absolute person. Otherwise, there would have been no need to mention so many details in support of his personal features.
Would you like to read the next 2 paragraphs, Eddie?
Although the individual parts and parcels of the Lord's potencies have all the symptoms of the Lord himself, they have limited spheres of activity and are therefore all limited. The parts and parcels are never equal to the whole. Therefore, they cannot appreciate the Lord's full potency. Under the influence of material nature, foolish and ignorant living beings who are but parts and parcels of the Lord try to conjecture about the Lord's transcendental position. Sir, can you help me with that, sir?
Sri Isopanishad.
Sri Isopanisad warns of the fertility of trying to establish the identity of the Lord through mental speculation. One should try to learn the transcendence from the Lord himself, the supreme source of the Vedas. For the Lord alone has full knowledge of the transcendence. Okay, I'm going to go past now.
I'm gonna make the text bigger. Okay, I'm gonna make the text bigger since it's small on the share screen thing.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm just
Zahn,
trying
would.
to-
No, that's okay.
Oh no,
That's
that's
okay,
nice.
Eddie.
Thank you. Zahn, would you like to read the next part? Next paragraph or two? Zahn, would you like to read the next paragraph or two?
Sorry, I was muted.
Okay.
Yes. Every part and parcel of the complete whole is endowed with some particular energy to act according to the Lord's will. When the part and parcel living entity forgets his particular activities under the Lord's will, he is considered to be in Maya, illusion. Thus, from the very beginning, Sri Isopanisad warns us to be very careful to play the part designated for us by the Lord. This does not mean that the individual soul has no initiative of his own, because he is part and parcel of the Lord. He must partake of the initiative of the Lord as well. When a person properly utilizes his initiative or active nature with intelligence, understanding that everything is the Lord's potency, he can revive his original consciousness, which was lost due to association with Maya, the external energy.
Do you want to read the next one?
Sure. All power is obtained from the Lord. Therefore, each particular power must be utilized to execute the will of the Lord and not otherwise. The Lord can be known by one who has adopted such a submissive service attitude. Perfect knowledge means knowing the Lord in all his features, knowing his potencies, and knowing how these potencies work by his will. These matters are described by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all the Upanishads.
Jai. Okay, maybe we can do, if you guys want to try to read this mantra number 5, I can say the line and then everybody can try and repeat it. I know my pronunciation isn't the best though. Tad ijati tan naijati.
Tad ijati
Tad
tan
ijati tan naijati.
Tad dure tad vantike.
Tadure
Tadure tadvi antike.
Tad antar asya sarvasya.
Tadantar asya sarvasya.
Tad antarsya asya.
Tad u sarvasyasya bhayataha.
Tad yu
Tad
sarvasya.
u sarvasyasya bhayata.
Jai. Okay. Blaze, do you want to read the translation in the first paragraph?
Sure. The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He is within everything, and yet he is outside of everything. Here is a description of some of the Supreme Lord's transcendental activities, executed by his inconceivable potencies. The contradictions given here prove the inconceivable potencies of the Lord. He walks and he does not walk. Ordinarily, if someone can walk, it is illogical to say that he cannot walk. But in reference to God, such a contradiction simply serves to indicate his inconceivable power. With our limited fund of knowledge, we cannot accommodate such contradictions, and therefore we conceive of the Lord in terms of our limited powers of understanding. For example, the impersonalist philosophers of the Mayavadi school accept only the Lord's impersonal activities and reject his personal feature. But the members of the Bhagavata school, adopting the perfect conception of the Lord, accept his inconceivable potencies and thus understand that he is both personal and impersonal. The Bhagavatas know that without inconceivable potencies, there is no meaning to the word Supreme Lord.
I've got a question for you, Blaze. So what does this mean here that he's both personal and impersonal?
That if okay, what I think is that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but that the Mayavadis, even if they come to, this realization of the impersonal, that it's actually Krishna that they are perceiving, but they just reject the personality. Is that right?
Yeah, from my understanding, it's his effulgence is impersonal. So he is all pervading. He is within everything, but that that oneness or that effulgence that people impersonalists want to merge into, that's actually just the effulgence of his body.
Ah, wow. Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, the personal feature, I mean, that's Krishna himself, and then even this impersonal feature is also Krishna. So like an impersonalist, it doesn't really that's one step of like seeing that everything is all one. There's this all pervasive effulgence, but even beyond that, like Prabhupada gives a nice example. You might see a mountain from a distance, and you might just say it's a big green thing, or the analogy something like this. But then when you get closer, you see that there's varieties of vegetation and trees and things on the mountain. And then when you get even closer, you see that there's all sorts of living entities throughout it. So, or another example, this one makes more sense. When you see the sun globe, which it's actually described in all of the Vedic literatures that the sun is a sun planet. There's living entities there just like here, except their main constitution is fire. So when you see the sun planet, it looks like it's just an effulgent big light. But if somebody gets even closer, then they'll see that it's the planet, and they get even closer, and then they can meet the presiding deity of the sun. So it's like that with these different stages of realizing the absolute truth. First, that impersonal effulgence, then understanding him as his localized feature, which is the super soul in every living entity, because he's with every living being, every soul, he's with them as the super soul. And then beyond that realization is the Bhagavan realization, or realizing the supreme personality of Godhead. Does anybody else have any comment or anything on what we've read so far? Comment or question or anything?
I have a question on the second realization. What is the name for it?
Paramatma.
Paramatma.
Yeah, it's so Brahman. That's that impersonal realization, that all pervasive realization, and then Paramatma, the super soul that's in the heart of every living entity, and then Bhagavan, which is that the supreme person, the supreme personality of Godhead.
I had one more example to give.
Yeah.
There's one more. Actually, Srila Prabhupada, he shared so many different. He would speak on this point so many times, because we are all contaminated to some degree or other by this, all oneness sort of a philosophy, because it means that we don't have to accept an authority. If it's all oneness, then I'm just as good as you. Why do I have to listen to anybody? So then he would give many examples. So one that I heard most recently was like those ones that Rishi gave, but there's one more that was, if there's like there's like a small village, like an Aborigines First Peoples, and some industrialists, they build a railroad to that place, and the train has not come yet, but the rail is there, and they all were speculating. Oh, the train is like this. Oh, this is the train. Oh, that's the train. And then they say, okay, the train's actually going to come, and they send 3 scouts, and the scouts go out, and then their train is actually coming, and they see him far away, and they just see the headlamp of the train. And the first scout, oh, I know what the train is, and then he goes back and he tells everybody, the train is the light. The train is the light. It gets bigger and bigger. And then the other guys, the scouts, they decide to stay, and they wait. And then another one, he sees the smokestack and he hears the whistle. So he sees the smoke, the stack in the distance, and then he also hears the whistle, and he says, oh, wow, I know what the train is. The train is a sound. The train is the smoke. And then he goes, and then another one. So he goes back to the village and he tells that. And another one, he decides to wait. And he waits long enough that he gets picked up by the train, and he sees all the compartments. He sees, oh, it's a train. There's this part and the locomotive, the caboose, the cabins, the passenger cabins, the utility bins, the overhead bins, the seats, there's the persons inside, and he knows all the details. So that's what it's like to understand that Krishna is a person, and he actually has activities. He has desires just like we do. So that's another example of it.
Jai, thank you.
Does that
Let's see.
third scout leave? Does he stay on the train? And does he know where the train is going? Does that third scout leave and go back and tell the people? Or does he stay on the train? And does he know where the train's going?
Well, the train is going to the village, so he can stay on the train, and then he can describe to everyone that doesn't get to go in. And then by his potency, by his knowledge, his factual knowledge, he can tell everyone. And then if his memory is proper, then he can tell everybody, and it's almost like everybody else can go on the train even if they're not, even if they weren't able to.
So he becomes authoritative because he decided to wait and gain knowledge. God.
Authoritative, that's good.
Hey, Sai Prabhu, would you want to read? Sai Srinivasanaka.
Yeah. So these lines, right?
Yeah, it starts with we should not take it for granted.
Yeah. We should not take it for granted that because we cannot see God with our eyes. The Lord has no personal existence. Sri Isopanisad refutes this argument by declaring that the Lord is far away but very near also. The abode of the Lord is beyond the material sky, and we have no means to measure even this material sky. If the material sky extended so far, then what to speak of the spiritual sky, which is altogether beyond it. That the spiritual sky is situated far away from the material universe is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.6 verse. But despite the Lord's being so far away, he can at once, within less than a second, descend before us with a speed swifter than that of the mind or a wind. he can also run so swiftly that no one can surpass him. This had already been described in the previous mantra.
Thank
Meaning?
what's up?
Do you want me to say the meaning also?
Oh yeah, if you'd like to comment on that.
Okay. Um, it is saying that God is everywhere and God is nowhere. Is that right?
Power off.
Well,
Yeah. It is
Prabhupada,
saying
he's
that.
explaining that some people will say, since we can't see God with our eyes, then he has no
Yeah.
personal existence.
Yeah, he has
But
no personal existence. He is
I
everywhere,
let's see.
but he is nowhere. He is far away, but he is near. And
Mhm.
like in a snap, he can reach you faster than anything if you call him.
Yeah, that's a cool part that also like emphasizes the fact that he's a person, because it's also saying that even though it's saying that he also can move the quickest, he's running the quickest. The Supreme Lord walks and does not walk. He is far away, but he is very near as well. He's within everything, and yet he is outside of everything. So it's explaining how he walks and he does not walk. And so ordinarily a person walks, but it's also talking about how he does not walk because he also has different features. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Isn't it also saying that? Isn't this like a way to say that he resides in this as a super soul in the heart of every living entity, and it also has his own space? So everything is his. He owns everything, but does he have his own space completely transcendental from everything, and that's why he's so far away? Is that no matter what kind of materials ship or we can't reach him because he's past the material sky that we can't even fathom or measure the material sky. So what to say about the transcendental one? Because nowhere sounds. I'm not saying you're wrong. I really don't know, but nowhere just sounds like impersonal. You know,
Yeah.
his light's also breathing. So even if you are in the impersonal aspect, his light is still, his effulgence still pervades everything. So nothing and nowhere is a term that I don't really understand.
I just said that.
You- you-
The true meaning.
Oh, it's okay. I appreciate that you're even on right now. I missed hearing you on the calls.
I think an example that explains this well is this example of a big fire that Prabhupada gives, where so we could explain Krishna like a big fire, because even though he's present in the spiritual world doing all his pastimes, his light and energy is then distributed far and far away. It's diffused, just like a big fire. Its light is distributed throughout and lighting up different things in the night. So in the same way, the Lord, he's got his personal pastimes, associates, abodes, homes, family, friends, all that in the spiritual world. But the material manifestation and everything else is his energy just distributed, just like a fire distributing its light and its heat outwards. So he can this whole setup in the material world, it's his energy, but he can also be aloof from it at the same time. Just like Prabhupada gives an example that my voice, when he's doing a recording, he's saying that my voice on this tape recording, if someone plays it back later, it's still me, but I'm not there personally present. It's my energy. So in the same way, this material world, it's Krishna's energy, but he doesn't have to be personally present, just like the sound of somebody speaking on a tape recorder.
Yeah, that was really nice presentation of Prabhupada's example. This nowhere, right? The word nowhere means nowhere in the material world, meaning, he's personally in his abode. So whenever it says nowhere, that means, nowhere in the material sphere. He's always in the transcendental sphere. Even if he comes down, he's always in the transcendental. So in that sense, he's nowhere to be found in the material world. But exactly like Riku said, his energy is distributed every single place, and because the whole material world is his energy. You can't separate the energy and the energetic, right? I mean, there's no meaning to the word sun without sunshine. They go together, So anyway,
Yeah, like if it was daytime and the sunshine's coming through this window, we could say, is the sun in this room? Someone might say, yeah, the sun's in the room. But no, the actual sun, it's not in the room, but still it's energy, the heat and the light, the sunshine is still being dispersed into the room. So like that, Krishna has many energies and they're distributed throughout the whole creation, but he doesn't have to be personally right there, even though they're his energies. Did you want to read the next word, Nate?
Starting with yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. Yet when the personality of Godhead comes before us, we neglect him. Such foolish negligence is condemned by the Lord in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9, verse 11, where he says that the foolish deride him, considering him a mortal being. He is not a mortal being, nor does he come before us with a body produced of material nature. There are so many so-called scholars who contend that the Lord descends in a body made of matter, just like an ordinary living being. Not knowing his inconceivable power, such foolish men place the Lord on an equal level with the ordinary men.
Do you want to read the next one?
Because he is full of inconceivable potencies, God can accept our service through any sort of medium, and he can convert his different potencies according to his own will. Non-believers argue either that the Lord cannot incarnate himself at all, or that if he does, he descends in a form of material energy. These arguments are nullified if we accept the existence of the Lord's inconceivable potencies. Then we will understand that even if the Lord appears before us in the form of material energy, it is quite possible for him to convert this energy into spiritual energy. Since the source of the energies is one and the same, the energies can be utilized according to the will of their source. For example, the Lord can appear in the form of Archa Vrigraha, a deity supposedly made of earth, stone, or wood. Deity forms, although engraved from wood, stone, or other matter, are not idols, as the iconoclasts contend. In our present state of imperfect material existence, we cannot see the Supreme Lord due to imperfect vision. Yet those devotees who want to see him by means of material vision are favored by the Lord, who appears in a so-called material form to accept his devotees' service. One should not think that such devotees, who are in the lowest stage of devotional service, are worshiping an idol. They are factually worshiping the Lord, who has agreed to appear before them in an approachable way. Nor is the archa form fashioned according to the whims of the worshiper. This form is eternally existent with all paraphernalia. This can be actually felt by a sincere devotee, but not by an atheist.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In the Bhagavad Gita 4:11, the Lord says that how he treats his devotee depends on the devotee's degree of surrender. The Lord reserves the right not to reveal himself to anyone and everyone, but to show himself only to those souls who surrender unto him. Thus, for the surrendered soul, he is always within reach, whereas for the unsurrendered soul, he is far, far away and cannot be approached. In this connection, two words the revealed scriptures often apply to the Lord, saguna, with qualities, and nirguna, without qualities, are very important. The word saguna does not imply that when the Lord appears with perceivable qualities, he must take on a material form and be subject to the laws of material nature. For him, there is no difference between the material and spiritual energies, because he is the source of all energies. As the controller of all energies, he cannot at any time be under their influence, as we are. The material energy works according to his direction. Therefore, he can use that energy for his purposes without ever being influenced by any of the qualities of that energy. In this sense, he is nirguna, without qualities. Nor does the Lord become a formless entity at any time, for ultimately he is the eternal form, the primeval Lord. His impersonal aspect, or Brahman effulgence, is but the glow of his personal rays, just as the sun's rays are the glow of the sun god. When the child saint Prahlad Maharaj was in the presence of his atheist father, his father asked him, "Where is your God?" When Prahlad replied that God resides everywhere, the father angrily asked whether his God was within one of the pillars of the palace, and the child said yes. At once, the atheist king shattered the pillar in front of him to pieces, and the Lord instantly appeared as Nrsimha, the half-man, half-lion incarnation, and killed the atheist king. Thus, the Lord is within everything, and he creates everything by his different energies. Through his inconceivable powers, he can appear at any place in order to fit sincere devotee. Lord Nrsimha appeared from within the pillar, not by the order of the atheist king, but by the wish of his devotee Prahlad. An atheist cannot order the Lord to appear, but the Lord will appear anywhere and everywhere to show mercy to his devotee. The Bhagavad Gita 4:8 similarly states that the Lord appears in order to vanquish non-believers and protect believers. Of course, the Lord has sufficient energies and agents who can vanquish atheists, but it pleases him to personally favor a devotee. Therefore, he descends as an incarnation. Actually, he descends only to favor his devotees and not for any purpose. Did you want to read, Coder?
Yeah. In the Brahma Samhita 535, it is said that Govinda, the primeval Lord, enters everything by his plenary portion. He enters the universe as well as the atoms of the universe. He is outside in his Virat form, and he is within everything as Antaryami. As Antaryami, he witnesses everything that is going on, and he awards us the result of our actions as karma pala. We ourselves may forget what we have done in previous lives, but because the Lord witnesses our actions, the results of our actions are always there, and we have to undergo the reactions nonetheless. The fact is that there is nothing but God within and without. Everything is a manifestation of his different energies, like the heat and light emanating from a fire. And in this way, there is a oneness among his diverse energies. Although there is oneness, however, the Lord in his personal form still enjoys unlimitedly all the pleasures enjoyed minutely by the tiny part and parcel living entities.
Joy. Does anybody have any comments or questions on that fifth mantra or what we just read? I mean, it's pretty big. That's why I just wanted to keep reading. But if anybody has any comments or questions or anything. Okay, cool. So mantra 6 is Yastu Sarvani Bhutani
Yastu Sarvani Bhutani
Atmanyevanupasyati
Atmani Evanu Pasyati
Sarvabhuteshu Chatmanam.
Sarvabhuteshu Shatmanam
Tato na vidgup. Wait. Tato na vijugupshate.
Tato Na Vijugu Pashate.
Translation. He who systematically sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord, who sees all living entities as his parts and parcels, and who sees the Supreme Lord within everything, never hates anything or any being. Is there anyone that wanted to read?
Yeah, I could read.
Okay, cool.
This is a description of the Mahabhagavata, the great personality who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Supreme Lord's presence is realized in three stages. The Kanishta Adhikari is in the lowest stage of realization. He goes to a place of worship such as a temple, church, or mosque, according to his religious faith, and worships there according to scriptural injunctions. Devotees in this stage consider the Lord to be present at the place of worship and nowhere else. They cannot ascertain who is in what position in devotional service, nor can they tell who has realized the Supreme Lord. Such devotees follow the routine formulas and sometimes quarrel among themselves, considering one type of devotion better than another. These Kanista Adhikaris are actually materialistic devotees who are simply trying to transcend the material boundary to reach the spiritual plane. Those who have attained the second stage of realization are called Madhyama Adhikaris. These devotees observe the distinctions between four categories of beings: the Supreme Lord, the devotees of the Lord, the innocent, who have no knowledge of the Lord, and the atheists, who have no faith in the Lord and hate those in devotional service. The Madhyami or Madhyama Adhikari behaves differently toward these four classes of person. He adores the Lord, considering him in the object of love. He makes friends with those who are in devotional service. He tries to awaken a dormant love of God in the hearts of the innocent. And he avoids the atheists who deride the very name of the Lord. Above the Madhyama Adhikari is the Uttama Adhikari, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee does not discriminate between an atheist and a theist, but sees everyone as part and parcel of God. He knows that there is no essential difference between a vastly learned Brahmana and a dog in the street, because both of them are part and parcel of the Lord, although they are encaged in different bodies on account of the different qualities of their activities in the previous life. He sees that the Brahmana particle of the Supreme Lord has not misused his little independence given him by the Lord, and that the dog particle has misused his independence and is therefore being punished by the laws of nature by being encaged in the form of a dog. Not considering the respective actions of the Brahmana and the dog, the Uttama Adhikari tries to do good to both. Such a learned devotee is not misled by material bodies, but is attracted by the spiritual spark within them.
I'll read if you want.
Yeah, do you want to read just this next paragraph, and then I've got a question?
You want to ask the question
No.
now? Those who imitate an Uttama Adhikari by flaunting a sense of oneness or fellowship, but who behave on the bodily platform, are actually false philanthropists. The conception of universal brotherhood must be learned from an Uttama Adhikari, and not from a foolish person who does not properly understand the individual soul or the Supreme Lord's super soul expansion, who dwells everywhere.
Okay, I just wanted to check with everybody. It's actually a pop quiz. What are the three? What were the three types of devotees?
The Kanishta Adhikari, the Madhyama Adhikaris, and the Uttama Adhikari.
Does anybody want to explain what the Kanishta Adhikari was?
Kanishta Adhikari is the lowest form of who has a lesser knowledge about the God. So they goes to temple, mosque, and they go to worship places to worship the God. Worship the God. They will find only over there. That's a Kanishta Adhikari. Madhyama.
What makes the Kanishta one the lowest stage? Or what kind of distinction is there that makes it like a lower level of realization?
They go to temple. They go to worship places. Is that?
I think the one for the Kanishta Adhikaris is so yeah they're worshiping in the temple, but that's not what makes it the lowest stage. It's that they see that the Lord is only in the temple and they don't see the Lord anywhere else. And then also the temple, church, or mosque, or wherever. And then at the same time, what was it? They cannot ascertain what position uh, people are in devotional service, or who has realized the Supreme Lord. So they get in quarrels, thinking like one type of devotion to be better than another, not able to make any distinctions between people.
And Madhyama Adhikari, he has a. I think someone should say about Madhyama Adhikari.
Yeah, does somebody want to give a description of that one?
Yeah, I want everyone to share.
I can speak a little bit. This Madhyamadikari, he makes distinctions. That's the main thing. Is right. The Kanishta, he doesn't know. He doesn't know that there's different levels of devotees. He's just thinking, I'll go to temple, I give some donation. That's all I do. That's nice, you know. But the second class devotee is thinking, okay, there's different categories. He sees the Supreme Lord. That's one. He knows he's his own class. Krishna is in his own class. Then he sees the devotees. He worships Krishna. Then he serves the devotees. He sees that the devotees are there too. Then um, he gives he or he serves the advanced devotees. He can tell who's advanced and who's not. Then he gives mercy to the innocent peoples. Meaning he wants to help people come to Krishna consciousness. Then he avoids associating. He doesn't really like to spend time or exchange ideas with people who are envious of God, or you know those persons who aren't wanting to hear about the Lord, who are atheistic and demoniac. Did that cover it, Rishi?
Yeah, that was good. There's four distinctions he makes. He sees one, the Supreme Lord; two, the devotees, and he serves the devotees; three, the innocent, the people who don't have knowledge of God, so he helps them come to devotional service; and then four, the atheists or the envious, those who hate the Lord in devotional service, and he avoids them.
Can I talk on
So it's perfect. Yeah.
Unless you want to. It says that above the Madhyama Adhikari is the Uttama Adhikari, who sees everything in relation to the Supreme Lord. Such a devotee does not discriminate between an atheist and a theist, but sees everyone as part and parcel of God. He knows that there is no essential difference between a vastly learned Brahmana and a dog in the street, because both of them are part and parcel of the Lord. Although they are encaged in different bodies on account of the different qualities of their activities in their previous lives, he sees that the Brahmana particle of the Supreme Lord has not misused his little independence given him by the Lord, and that the dog particle has misused his independence and is therefore being punished by the laws of nature by being encaged in the form of a dog. Not considering the respective actions of the Brahmana and the dog, the Uttama Adhikari tries to do good to both. Such a learned devotee is not misled by material bodies, but is attracted by the spiritual spark within them.
Jai. So what makes an Uttama Adhikari then different from a Majjhima Adhikari?
He's not seeing those four distinctions. He's seeing the Lord within everyone in the spiritual spark. And he's understanding that the difference is that humans have responsibility, and that in their previous lives they've done some activity that has awarded them the opportunity to be responsible, whereas in the previous lives of, let's say, the dog, he or she, or the soul has done the soul in the previous life, whatever form it was in, has misused their opportunity that they have, and so they're being punished to be in the body of a dog, encaged in a dog. But he doesn't see them, and he doesn't see them as better or worse. He's there to help both individuals, the individual soul. And he doesn't say this, but in other texts that we've read, specifically, being here, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra even helps the trees, helps everything. So, Uttamadikari seems to be someone that is just following the instructions as from the disciplic succession.
Jai. Yeah, the Uttama Adhikari, he sees the Lord everywhere. He sees everyone engaged in Krishna's service, no matter who they are. And so we can't imitate that platform because that's pretty high up there. Did you want to read the next part, Prabhu?
Sure.
We're on it is clearly mentioned.
Where's that? Oh, okay. It is clearly mentioned in this sixth mantra that one should observe or systematically see. This means that one must follow the previous acharyas, the perfected teachers. Anupashyati is the exact Sanskrit word used in this connection. Anu means to follow, and pashyati means to observe. Thus, the word anupashyati means that one should not see things as he does with the naked eye, but should follow the previous acharyas. Due to material defects, the naked eye cannot see anything properly. One cannot see properly unless one has heard from a superior source, and the highest source is the Vedic wisdom, which is spoken by the Lord himself. Vedic truths are coming in disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyas, and from Vyas to his many disciples. Formerly, there was no need to record the messages of the Vedas because people in earlier ages were more intelligent and had sharper memories. They could follow the instructions simply by hearing once from the mouth of a bona fide spiritual master.
Did you want to keep reading?
At present, there are many commentaries on the revealed scriptures, but most of them are not in the line of disciplic succession coming from Srila Vyasadeva, who originally compiled the Vedic wisdom. The final, most perfect and sublime work by Srila Vyasadeva is Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. There is also the Bhagavad Gita, which was spoken by the Lord himself and recorded by Vyasadeva. These are the most important revealed scriptures, and any commentary that contradicts the principles of the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam is unauthorized. There is complete agreement among the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and Srimad Bhagavatam, and no one should try to reach any conclusion about the Vedas without receiving instructions from members of Vyasadev's disciplic succession, who believe in the personality of Godhead and his diverse energies as they are explained in Sri Isopanisad. According to the Bhagavad Gita, 1854, Only one who is already on the liberated platform, Brahmabhuta, can become an Uttama Adhikari devotee and see every living being as his own brother. This vision cannot be had by politicians who are always after some material gain. One who imitates the symptoms of an Uttama Adhikari may serve another's outward body for the purpose of fame or material reward, but he does not serve the spirit soul. Such an imitator can have no information of the spiritual world. The Uttama Adhikari sees the spirit soul within the material body and serves him as spirit. Thus, the material aspect is automatically served.
So we have 5 more minutes. Did you want to speak any comments or anything?
No. Don't speculate. Don't speculate, and always check in with higher authorities. That's what I got from that.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhu. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything? There's just a few minutes left, and then we're going to set up in the temple room.
Yeah. Is the Upanishads and Sri Isopanisad related, or?
The Upanishad is a part of the Upanishads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that the Isopanishad is a part of the Upanishads.
In the invocation.
Oh, okay.
There's 108 of them Upanishads, I believe.
Yeah. That's what Dr. Kyle said. I think
So
maybe in
it's- I think this is-
invocation might say something about it.
Yeah, I remember reading something like that. I think this is like the main one or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the essence of the 108.
Yeah, I think that's
Is there a meaning to the word or to the number 108?
There's a few different meanings. I think someone asked this at the end of a Zoom just the other day, and so Ananda gave one meaning before we left. So I'll give another one. I don't know if one of them is there's
Krishna
100.
likes that number.
Yeah, Krishna. There we go. That's the meaning for today. Is that Krishna likes that number, but Krishna has 108 cows. There's one meaning.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, 108 cows.
And 108 principal gopis.
There's 108 principal gopis, the most elevated servants of the Lord. There's a lot of different
Ananda say
meanings.
some really, really basic ones. Like as quick as he could to just get me out of this.
I'm not sure. Okay, well, is there any last questions or anything?
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. So we're gonna set up in the temple now. Thank you all for reading this. It's really nice to have everybody here because we all need each other in devotional service so that we can serve Lord Chaitanya in the Sankirtan mission, which the main part of that is, of course, the congregational chanting of the holy name, Hare Krishna. So yeah, in the temple, we're about to go do a kirtan, and then we'll have a Bhagavad Gita class in half an hour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
His divine loving grace abides in another video of the Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivraj Acharya Ashtottara Shri Sriman's divine grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Vaishnava Vrinda ki Acharya Srila Harinasa Thakur ki Prem Se Gabo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhani ki Guni Shiva Dama Dama ki Guri Maya Pradam ki Puridam ki Shukram Shetha Jagannath Pradam ki Maye ki Ramana ki Tulasi Devi ki Devi ki Samdera Bhaktivinoda ki Swami Chief Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki Hari Ram Hari Ram Sankirtan ki Shri Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Das Raghunath Sargo Shagavoli ki Jai Gaura Nimanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories. Shri Guru Gauranga. All glories to Shri Guru. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Yeah,